Hello everyone and welcome to part 6 of What If Makeshift joined the Autobots. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So we start this part off with the Autobots as they meet up with Agent Fowler. Agent Fowler then says, "It ain't much, but we tried our best to cobble everything we can together from your old bases." We then see an abandoned warehouse where from the outside it looks untouched and abandoned, while on the inside it's filled with some Cybertronian technology. A little bit to start off with. And I did this as a reference to like Transformers Animated HQ that was abandoned, plus the Transformers Robots in Disguise 2001 show, and kind of in Transformers Rise of the Beast, but we never got confirmation that that was their actual base, but still. Nice nod to other Transformers media, in my opinion at least. Optimus Prime then says, "Thank you, Agent Fowler. This will most certainly do." And on the bright side, there is also a ground bridge, which the Autobots work to get online. And Breakdown will be in charge of manning the ground bridge controls from the Autobot base. Later, we cut to Optimus and Makeshift as they are on a scouting mission, where they see Megatron, who's actually alone in this timeline, and they see him pick up something from a container. And they run up to him. "Megatron, we will not allow you to pilfer Autobot technology." Megatron then shows off the spark extractor. And then he says, "You should have stayed with your rightful master when you had the chance, Makeshift." To which Makeshift looks at Optimus Prime and gives him a signal like he knows that's one of his clones. At least Makeshift made the right choice, unlike you clones. The Makeshift Megatron clone then tries to run away. "Bumblebee, RC, now!" RC then runs into the Makeshift clone, kicking him, causing him to lose balance. To which Bumblebee begins opening fire, and Optimus begins punching at the clone. The clone then uppercuts Optimus. And this is where we see Makeshift turn into Optimus Prime, then transform into Optimus's vehicle mode, ramming at the Megatron Makeshift clone while he's shooting, transforms midair, and stabs the Megatron Makeshift clone in the chest. One Makeshift clone dead. 4 to go. Makeshift is like, "Ow, scrap that hurt." Optimus is then like, "Excellent work, Autobots." But Optimus Prime's eyes widen as he sees something. A Predacon coming in and breathes fire. Optimus then dodges the Predacon's fire breath, and he thinks to himself, "A Predacon? Here? How?" But he orders the Autobots to get out of here with the spark extractor immediately, and Bumblebee listens, running away with the spark extractor. RC follows behind them. However, Makeshift does not want to leave Optimus behind to face this Predacon alone. Optimus then ensures Makeshift that he'll be alright to go. And as Makeshift is about to leave, Shockwave walks through a ground bridge and shoots Optimus Prime. Makeshift then turns into the Decepticon and grabs Optimus and transforms and flies off. But Predaking is relentless and follows them. The Makeshift Decepticon contacts Breakdown for our ground bridge, and it is opened. As to which the Predacon breathes fire. But luckily Insecticon Makeshift manages to get through just in time before the Predacon breathes fire. And once Shockwave reports to Megatron that the Makeshift clone was killed and that the Autobots got away with the relic, Megatron says, "The loss of one asset is hardly a blow to us. We have much more on the list. Let us see what other relics we could be reunited with." The 4 remaining clones then hear Megatron doesn't care about one of their own being lost. And then one of them looks to the others. "Perhaps it is time that we make some new management around here. Eh, boys?" And then the rest smile. The first part of their plan. Later, Starscream goes on a scouting mission leading the clones. To which later, Starscream finds himself alone, and then he sees something, and he walks towards it. And then he is tased and shot down. To which Mech approaches and actually begin killing off Starscream, taking out everything that they need to finish their project. And this is when the 4 remaining Makeshift clones watch from over the hill. "Whoop, this plan took a turn. However, those humans, I think I have an idea." And the clones look at each other, to which they approach Mech. And Silas looks back at them and says, "Prepare to join your friend." To which Mech aims their weapons. The Makeshift clones then look at Mech. "We do not wish to fight. We wish to join you. You see, our interests align. We both hate the Decepticons and the Autobots. We can work together to be rid of them both." Silas then says, "I'm listening." "We can see you are trying to make your own army of Cybertronians. because you are killing off Cybertronians and gaining their parts. And we know a place that you can claim more if you agree to join forces. To which Silas then agrees and takes them back to their base. To which Silas then introduces them to their newest project called Megatron X. This Megatron X possesses all of Megatron's strength, speed, and firepower. The perfect meld of man and machine. To which Silas then says, how do you propose that we use this against the Decepticons? The clones then say, leave that to us. We then see one of the makeshift clones transform into Starscream. And the makeshift clone Starscream returns to the Nemesis. Lord Megatron, the clones and I have discovered something that you may like. Open a ground bridge to these coordinates. Megatron is then like, excellent. Soundwave, open the coordinates to Starscream's coordinates. We then see the Starscream makeshift clone smile and says, may the dawn of a new era begin. And Megatron is like, oh no, as he realizes what is going on. As to which the other three makeshift clones run in. One of them turning into Soundwave and running at the real Soundwave and fighting him. And another one turning into a Shockwave and then fighting the real Shockwave. And then the other ones shifting into two characters like all at once, Knockout and Breakdown, and just killing off a lot of Viacons. Megatron is about to begin combating them, that is until he's punched in the face. And he sees an alternate version of him stand before him. And Silas speaks through this copycat. At long last, we meet again, Megatron. Do I know you? You will. Because I am Silas, your destroyer. He fires his cannon. Megatron dodges and uses his cannon. The two then run each other with both their swords out. And while both Megatrons are occupied with each other, the Starscream makeshift clone then fires his weapons at Megatron, which causes Megatron to lose his balance. And this is where Silas's Megatron X takes out his sword and literally stabs Megatron in the chest, killing him. Shockwave and Soundwave pretty much defeated look at each other, and then they begin to run off, where the four remaining makeshift clones follow. Megatron X follows along too, but Shockwave and Soundwave let him into an open area, to which the Predacon roars and begins charging at them. Megatron X gets into a fighting stance. The four makeshift clones then say wait, and the Predacon does actually stop. And then the makeshift clones look at each other, and look at the Predacon. You do not have to be alone. As to which, they turn into Predacon clones. They stay in those forms for a little bit, and then they turn back. And then the Predacon turns to Soundwave and Shockwave, and then begins to charge at them. However, does transform. And that even takes the makeshift clones aback. He then sees everybody reacting to him. Most surprising, I know. But this is not the only surprise on this day. For I know where I truly belong. With the superior race. The Shifters. The makeshift clones then look at each other. The Shifters. Not a bad name. Predaking then looks to Shockwave. Thank you for bringing me into this world. However, if I'm not wrong, these clones were brought into this world just as I was. Cloned from DNA from an original source. So, I know where I must go. To which he takes out a gun and kills Shockwave. To which Soundwave tries to escape, but Megatron X blocks his path and runs at him with a sword to decapitate his head. But then Soundwave ejects Laserbeak right at before he's stabbed, and Laserbeak flies off, find a true successor to keep the Decepticon cause alive. All hail Megatron, with a recorded message within Laserbeak. And then he flies off, with Soundwave meeting his end, his head decapitated. To which the Shifters, Predaking, Silas, and Mech with his Megatron X begin their own government of Decepticons. And while all that was happening, the Autobots were able to get the shield generator relic, as well as the Forge of Solos Prime. The Autobots heavily debate on what to use the Forge of Solos Prime to do. They can create anything that they want with it, to which Optimus has an idea. Since we have had bases that have failed us in the past, no actual working security systems, I know what we must do. To which he leads the Autobots outside, activates the Forge, and the Forge begins to glow, converting the abandoned Autobot base into a new and improved Autobot base. With advanced security systems capable of detecting unauthorized shifters in the base, and a shielding system to prevent them from being detected even in the perimeter outside, including a shield that prevents their base from ever being destroyed by the Nemesis's cannons again. As to which the Autobots begin to check out their base, and as they do, their new and improved scanners detect 2 ships within Earth's atmosphere, an Autobot ship and a Decepticon ship. Autobots, let us find out who are piloting these ships. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 6, and I'll see you guys in part 7.